Before we get into today's show, let's talk about manscaped.com. Listen, I want you guys to be super groomed, super fresh when you guys get out there on the date scene, or even if you want to go see your family, you don't want to go in as a hairy slob. Manscaped.com. Groom yourself the proper way with the proper tools, skin-safe technology, navigational light, amazing ergonomic design. Manscaped.com. Use promo code SHOWERLION. Save yourself 20% on your purchase. They've got everything you need to stay fresh and groomed. Manscaped.com. And remember to use that promo code to save yourself 20%. Put that in your pocket and get yourself an amazing product. Treat yourself today. Manscaped.com. Promo code SHOWERLION. Secondly, guys, very important, get the 16-round draft solution. The first ever and only video training. It's like having me at the draft with you guys. Going to help you guys crush your leagues. I mean, without a doubt, you're going to have as close to a bulletproof roster as you can humanly possibly get for fantasy football. There's no guarantees in fantasy, but this is going to really help you guys get that optimal roster. 16-round draft solution at thefantasyfootballcouncil.com. I've also linked it below. Now, today's episode is a good one. We are talking about make or break players. Why is this so important? Well, I'll tell you guys right now. The reason it's so important is because a lot of these guys, their career is on the line. This is it. This is the end of the line. If they don't perform this year, their name is mush. Their name is pretty much mush at this point anyway, or it's really on the downwards trend. But we need to focus on these guys, talk about them because they could really emerge this season. Some of them anyway. Some of them are just plummeting, and that's the end of the day, right? They're really going to break this year. They're not going to make it. So make or break fantasy football players 2021. Big episode. Let's get to it.
It's all for the taking, cause the time is now and I gotta get it. I'm a beast, I'm a freak when it comes to winning. Eyes on the prize like it's television.
All right, guys, a lot of energy going in this show, and these players make or break. These guys need a lot of energy because they definitely don't want to break this fantasy football season, and you definitely don't want them to break again on your team because, again, some of these guys are broken or have been broken for years. Some of them just had some unfortunate circumstances via injury or whatever it may be. So this is an open discussion. Again, this isn't necessarily a list. Just going to go through pretty much every player right now, every position, all of the rankings, and take a look at some players that pop out to me that are really in a make or break situation. One more plug here, guys. If you guys want to join the Best Ball League and beat the counselor this year for about $1,000 worth of prizes, head on over to fantrax.com/FFC. That's fantrax.com/FFC. Create an account. This is where you should be hosting your year-long leagues. Totally customizable. Guys, you can really set it to your absolute preference. If you want 2-quarterback league, if you want that tight end that's worth more, if you really want to customize your leagues and have a lot more flexibility in your year-long leagues with your friends, guys, fantrax.com/FFC. Go sign up. And then DM me, I'll send you a link to the Best Ball League. Okay, go do that now. Also, smash the thumbs up. Very important, helps the channel. And secondly, leave a comment below. Let me know which player you think is make or break and whether you want to draft him or not. So let's make it super interactive, guys. I want you guys to comment below. Let me know who's make or break, okay? So I'm just going to, again, pull out all of the players this year. Take a quick glance here. And I'm going to start off here with the quarterbacks. Now, as I was looking at this, before the episode, I saw that with wide receivers and tight ends, there isn't as many make or break players that kind of jumped out at me. I saw it more with the quarterbacks and the running backs. And I think part of that is because with wide receivers, you've got a 2 or 3 wide receiver set of players, for example, let's say the Cowboys, where a lot of that pressure is kind of taken off of the players. They're not under the radar per se. Whereas with running backs, you're kind of like, the focal point of that offense, right? Same with the quarterback. You're like a big part of that offense. And if you don't perform, whether it be injury or whether it be just lack of performance, whatever it may be, you're on the radar and you're really under the gun to really perform for your fantasy football team and for people's fantasy football teams and reality, okay? So let's start off with, let's get the tight ends and wide receivers out of the way. Let's leave the juicy stuff till the end. With tight ends, again, there really isn't players that are really kind of make or break for me. There is players that were kind of lackluster, didn't really perform last year, that kind of like need to perform. And again, it's a lot of it is due to quarterback play. So Noah Fant had a decent year last year. Again, a lot of this stuff doesn't really, appeal to these guys. It doesn't really apply to these guys, I should say, right? TJ Hawkinson, we need a good year out of him. But with tight ends, again, what you kind of see is what you get. Right? You're not really, there's guys that emerge and have these phenomenal years. And there's a couple tight end sleepers here that could really emerge, but I don't see anybody that's really broken here. We know guys that have kind of been performing a little bit not as good, like guys like Austin Hooper, Jared Cook needs to have a good year. Hayden Hurst had a bad year last year. Jack Doyle, guys like that, but no one that really jumped out at me for a make or break season, okay? Wide receivers, okay? Now we're starting to get a little juicier here, but you're going to really see the make or breaks with the running backs and the quarterbacks. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense, Joe. That guy really needs to perform or his career is mush, right? So wide receivers here, this is an obvious one. Odell Beckham Jr. I already, in my opinion, his name is mush anyway. Odell Beckham Jr., years to wow us, we're not wowed. This is a guy that pops out and sticks out to me on the radar here for wide receiver because this guy was expected to do well according to the consensus that Conchitas, and he just didn't do it. So, I mean, he's done already 4 years of not performing, getting injured, just not doing it. That should be the end of the line already, but a lot of people still believe him. He's coming off in the 4th, 5th round in a lot of fantasy leagues. So if he doesn't perform again this year and bust 5 years in a row, this is a complete break. I mean, it's already over. Fool me once, right? Shame on, what is it? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, or whatever it is. He's fooled people 4 years in a row. Not my guys, not the Conchitas, not the counselors, not the Lion mentality, but they fooled the mainstream consensus, and I'm not falling for it. So it's really a make or break year for him. Other guys, here's another guy that jumped out at me. Juju Smith, literally a make or break year for him as well, simply for the fact that he was really touted to be kind of the wide receiver one of the team. Didn't live up to expectations. We saw Claypool have a really good year predicated on touchdowns, and we saw Deontay Johnson be the RB or the wide receiver one there, and now they've got a solid RB with Najee Harris. I mean, I'm not really sold on Juju being that good anyway. He was simply a product of being open when Antonio Brown was drawing double coverage in that offense years ago. And again, I'm not sold on Juju at all, like period, zilch, nada. So literally, like, he's not good anyway. But if you're going to look at him down the road or his career or other people picking him up as a wide receiver in reality, this is literally a make or break season as well for him. Now, there's other guys, but no one's really jumping out at me, like those two guys are specifically. There's guys that, have been consistent throughout. There's guys that have been mediocre, and the expectations are tempered on those guys. Do you understand what I'm saying? So a guy, let's say Courtland Sutton, was banged up, but our expectations for Courtland Sutton, who's sitting 30th amongst wide receivers right now on the Conchitas, our expectations are tempered. There's an opportunity as a sleeper and a potential breakout, not a breakout, but a boom type of year. But if he doesn't perform well, people aren't going to be like, oh my God, Courtland Sutton didn't perform well. Does that make sense? So those are the guys that kind of popped out as like, come on guys, you should perform well. There's a couple other guys here that you could say, well, let's get it going. Amari Cooper, we kind of want more out of him. Julio Jones, a little bit on a decline, and a lot of that was due to injury last year. My concern with Julio this year, and I'm going to be doing a wide receiver top 10 episode. We'll be talking more about sleepers, breakouts, and more stuff. So make sure you guys are subscribed. And I explain all this in 16 round on who to draft and when. But the thing with Julio is I think the targets may not be there for him to really be a top 10 guy. I could be wrong. But, if you look at Tannehill, he's not a top 10 guy in attempts, right? So my concern is limited attempts. So it is a little bit of a make or break year for Julio Jones as well, simply predicated on the fact that, people are saying he's older. A lot of people saying he's washed up. It was one bad season, guys. Hopefully he does bounce back and he does get the volume to make him super viable wide receiver one yet again, okay? Now it gets juicy, guys. Running backs and quarterbacks. Again, before I get into this, 16 rounds. If you have not got it, I got to plug it again. Link in the bio on my Instagram, Fantasy Football Counselor. Jump over there, or thefantasyfootballcounselor.com, or link here below on YouTube. Just find it, or just Google 16-round draft solution. Get it, okay? It's going to help you guys crush your leagues. You get a bulletproof roster. You're going to absolutely love it, okay? Just jump on over now. Grab it. You're going to feel really confident with your roster. And I'm telling you, your league mates won't know what hit them, okay? Running backs. This is really interesting here. Again, just having an open discussion here about make or break running backs here. I got to say here, it's really a make or break here for Saquon Barkley. I mean, this is a guy that had a good year back, 2018? Just hasn't performed the past couple years. A bit of injury. 2019, I think he finished top 10. 2020 got injured. 2021, the offense is set. Okay, this is an offense that now has to succeed. We're going to talk about Daniel Jones in a second when we talk about quarterbacks, but this is an offense that has to thrive, has to succeed, has to do well. And literally, Saquon Barkley has to perform this year. period. I mean, he is the guy there. He's the workhorse. Now, there is talk about him getting slowly integrated due to injury, and he may be limited in snaps and stuff like that. And I get that, but he's got to get going. Like, he's really got to get going. And this is a guy that's really promoted to be a top running back. And again, I'd like him first overall this year. Him and Derrick Henry are a debate for me in regards to first overall. It is make or break, literally, for Saquon Barkley. He has to do something, okay? Guys like Dalvin Cook, he's kind of made it. He's been really paid. He's been incentivized. He's had 2 good years. If he breaks, nobody really cares. We've kind of come to expect that. He doesn't finish seasons. But, do you see the difference? Whereas Saquon, it's time. You've been down for 2 years. You got to rise. You can't go 3 years in a row with having mediocre seasons or getting injured or banged up. It's time for Saquon Barkley, make or break, okay? Another guy here, I don't understand the hype sitting 11th amongst running backs. And I understand the offense looks appealing, a little more appealing this year with the young Joe Burrow, the acquisition of Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, who looked good last year, who's doing well in minicamp right now. And I kind of get a little bit of the appeal because of the opportunity and the volume potentially. But Joe Mixon's not a guy I'm excited about. He is a guy that is literally in a make or break season who has been, slightly above par, if anything, has never been extraordinary or exceptional. He needs to make a name for himself this year. This is it. He will always be an average, mediocre back if he doesn't do anything this season. It's make or break. Go look at the stats. I'm already telling you guys, his pinnacle year was 2018, where he peaked at like 8 touchdowns and 243 fantasy points. Unacceptable, okay? So it's literally a fantasy football 2021 make or break year for Joe Mixon. Other guys here that are in a make or break season, I got to rhyme them off here for you. It's Miles Sanders. I mean, Miles Sanders is another guy that was being drafted 2nd, 3rd round last year. Literally make or break. He's done. I mean, he's got to perform this year. And I don't know if I see it on the Eagles. You got a quarterback likes to run the ball. You got a committee there. They keep flirting with other running backs to free agency to come in. They're not sold on Miles Sanders. It's literally make or break. Another guy is Chris Carson, constantly plagued with injuries, nagging injuries, never really, hit his full stride. Literally make or break for him as well. Another guy here, totally make or break because he's got a better talented running back breathing down his neck, is Melvin Gordon. 1,000-yard rushing season in all the years he's played. I think he's going into his 6th or 7th season or something like that. Literally, he has to perform this year. Melvin Gordon, make or break. I mean, this is why the Broncos invested an early pick in Javonte Williams, because they don't believe in you, Melvin Gordon. I mean, you got to come out swinging for the fences. You need a breakout run. You need to look like an RB1, which you think you are this season, or you are literally you are done. Absolutely done, finished. There's other guys that are hanging by the thread this year, absolutely hanging by the thread. They're done. They're pretty much done. David Johnson, I mean, it's a huge committee there in Houston. He's done. If he doesn't, he's pretty much done. He's got to come out and have a 2016 year, which I really doubt he's going to have with, Lindsey there and all the other guys, Ingram. It's a disaster of a committee there. I'm staying away. Chase Edmonds, he's never been good to begin with, so I can't say it's make or break, but he's got an opportunity, but I'm not sold. A lot of the consensus are sold on him. James Conner, again, I'm not sold on him as well. Just injuries, Arizona, he's pretty much on the downhill as well. Literally, it's make or break for a lot of these guys as well. Anyone else pop it out to me here? I think that covers. And again, in the comments, let me know if there's anyone else make or break. Austin Eckler, obviously, absolutely done nothing. He's getting an opportunity to start. If he doesn't perform as an RB1, which I don't think he will, I mean, they've got to get a true RB1 over there as well. So it's make or break for him as well, okay? So there's some juicy, solid make or break running backs for the season. Quarterback gets interesting as well here. Going to rhyme off some names here for you. Absolutely make or break for Carson Wentz. Now he's in an opportunity where he's got a relatively decent receiving core. Nothing to get excited about, but some upside receivers there, including Michael Pittman, maybe T.Y. Hilton with his veteran experience, can really start connecting with Carson Wentz. So it is a make or break season. A guy that's been on a downhill type of performance there with the Eagles now has an opportunity with a solid O-line, a good running game, and again, a decent receiving core. This is it. This is it for Carson Wentz. If he doesn't perform this year, I don't know what to tell you, man. He's just not that good. Daniel Jones, literally, now he's finally got no excuses. He's got a great receiving core with Kenny Golladay as a true wide receiver 1. They've got Tony. They drafted him as a Kadarius Toney. They've got Shepard. They've got Saquon Barkley. They've got an improved O-line. This is it. Daniel Jones, you got to take the team on your back and prove you're that franchise guy, or you are literally done. Another guy, like, I don't understand the hype. I don't see it. Yes, he puts up decent numbers, and I get it. But Derek Carr, like, literally, like, this is it. I mean, you are on a huge franchise-type team. You're on a big team. You're on a big mega corporation with the Vegas Raiders. Like, this is a big, franchise here with a huge following, a loyal following. And you've got the big stage here. Right now, you can make an excuse. You don't have receivers, but you've got some good weapons around you. I'm not a big fan of Josh Jacobs as a person, but I like him for, as a running back. And he's good value this year in fantasy, second or third round. So I'm looking at Derek Carr. Now, I'm not drafting him for fantasy, but I'm looking at him as a guy that's in a make or break situation. You've also got Sam Darnold here in Carolina. Did nothing with the Jets. You can make the excuse that the Jets sucked and he didn't have weapons. He's got an opportunity here in Carolina to really shine. Make or break as well, okay? Jimmy Garoppolo, not sure what's going to happen with him. I don't even know if he's going to get the start. Make or break. Drew Lock. I mean, his teammates are sticking up for him, saying he is the guy, battling it out with Bridgewater. From what I'm hearing in minicamp, Drew Lock is looking better. Make or break, okay? Cam Newton. Make or break, okay? Cam Newton's got to do it. He's got Mac Jones breathing down his neck, rookie. In minicamp, you saw little clips of Mac Jones outperforming him, throwing the ball a lot better than him. I mean, that's just one clip. It might be one practice where Newton had a bad game or bad practice, I should say. So literally make or break. And you're seeing this with a lot of quarterbacks. Like literally some of these guys are on thin ice and it's make or break, and those guys are it, okay? Tua, obviously some pressure there for him to perform this year. He's going to be under a microscope, going to be looked at very heavily to see how he does. Tua is going to be, and then Jalen Hurts as well under a microscope. So there's a lot of question marks about a lot of quarterbacks. When you're looking at a fantasy football draft strategy, you want to anchor your team with a quarterback that basically secure, right? That's going to anchor your team. And then you can gamble on some of these make or break guys as your backup quarterback because you know the pressure's on them and there may be some huge boom potential. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's it, guys. I went through a ton of make or break players, gave you guys a lot of insight. Take this in, process it, and use it towards your draft strategies if you are looking at some of these guys, because sometimes they might be under the gun and under pressure, they may perform well. Now, again, I'm staying away from guys like Odell Beckham and Melvin Gordon, but there is some golden gems here that are in a better situation. Guys like Carson Wentz, it could be a backup quarterback that you could draft that could really boom. Okay, guys? Subscribe, thumbs up, comment below. Let me know who's make or break. Did I miss anybody? Probably missed a bunch of players in the comments below. I appreciate you. Get the 16-round draft solution. And remember to host your league at fantrax.com/FFC. Go sign up, create an account, and DM me. I'm in. I'll send you a link to the best ball league up to $1,000 in prizes. Okay, guys? I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. I am out. We'll talk soon.